welcome. It's Brian up here in Kingfield, Maine. I've got a really cool one to show you. I've got a couple pictures I'm going to throw into the video as well to kind of show what it probably looked like back in the day. But this is a 1930s to early 40s Gretsch Model 40 Hawaiian guitar. I got this from a guy who I've been getting some great projects from out in Alberta, Canada. So Brent, if you're watching this, thanks for this, and thanks for the one that's on its way. This was originally a lap steel Hawaiian guitar. So Gretsch is really well known for their arch tops and their hollow body electrics, played by Chet Atkins and Brian Setzer and that sort of thing. But really they're known just as equally well for their arch top, carved top, big body jazz guitars, synchromatics, things like that. Well, back in the 30s, they decided to try something with a flat top, and they merged it with the big Hawaiian craze that was going on. Ukuleles are on the scene, and lap steel. Lap steel was a way that people could sit down and they could play with a slide, do a little picking, and since you're playing open tuning, everything you play with a slide is sort of in tune, and at least my attempts at slide sometimes are. But what people have done with a lot of these, including a model that I'm really in love with, made by Gibson, called the Royce Mech Stage Deluxe, is they'll get a hold of these and convert them to what they used to call Spanish play. I think I would just call it, fretted play now. But originally this had about a 2-inch wide nut. Would have had a really tall nut, also a straight, non-compensated saddle. I'm not sure if it had frets or not, because when I got it from Brent, it didn't have a fretboard on it. If it had frets, they were probably tiny little brass ones. A lot of these lap steels just had markers because all you really needed was a reference point for the slide. You're not fretting anything. So the conversion process consists of narrowing down the neck from the nut all the way up, cutting a compensated slot in the existing bridge, or doing a whole new bridge like I did. So what I did with this one, I took the neck off. It was going to need a neck reset anyway. While it was off, I repaired a tiny little bit of crack on one side here in the waist, and I reinforced the side with some cloth canvas reinforcement strips. Let's talk about specs for a second, and then I'll continue. This is a solid spruce top. It looks like mahogany, I know, but it is spruce. It's just been stained dark. It's got sort of an edge burst to it. I've seen a few of these online, and they've got a little more pronounced sunburst than this one does. It has an arched back. I believe that's pressed laminate mahogany, I assume. I'm not sure, but it's definitely mahogany, and because it has no braces, I'm guessing that it could be laminated. The sides are definitely solid, because when I was fixing that crack in the side, I really had a good look at what was going on in there, and you can see that it's just solid one piece of mahogany all the way around. 3-piece maple neck, what looks like what might be a walnut strip up the middle. So it's a 3-piece laminated together piece. It's got some beautiful flame. I just love it when the light hits it right. And I didn't really do a whole lot with cleaning that up. I wanted to leave the patina, but boy, I love it when it glows at me. So the neck came off, onto the router table it went, shaved it down from 1 31/32 inches, so let's call it 2-inch, down to a 1 13/16 nut. So it's a little wider, 1 3/4 inch, but very comfortable. E to E string spacing is 1.5 inches. Down here on the bridge, it's pretty wide. It's 2 1/4 inch, because that's just the way it was set up. It's a long scale. It's 26 1/8 inch scale. So much longer scale than a Martin or a Gibson. Really drives this top. So you really get some shimmery sounds out of this thing. Now, I don't know if the arched back helps with that pronunciation, but it really reminds me a lot of the way my Guild 12-string sounds. It's not super low. The highs are there, but they're not twangy. But it's just got this amazing mid-range sound. So I really just love how much volume it's got. So after the neck got shaved down narrower, I put a ebony fretboard on it. This has gold Stumac medium higher frets on them now, which I believe their gold ones are a mixture of copper and nickel. It's got a brand new bridge that I carved out of Gaboon ebony. It's basically the same shape as the original one. It's just a hair bigger. I just wanted to cover up any edges in case I had to adjust for intonation at all. And it does have a compensated, slightly curved, you can see how it, just like every normal acoustic guitar these days, a little bit closer on the high strings than it is on the low strings. Got a bone saddle. It's got a moose antler nut. That's my little personal touch here, living in Maine. I did do a little bit of structural reinforcement right around the sound hole because the original X bracing in this is fairly shallow. It's down here more in the belly. It's about 1 3/4 back from the sound hole itself, so not forward shifted at all. And I just wanted to make sure it had enough structure on the sides here that it wasn't going to dip the belly at all. So I've got finger braces right up the side here. The original X bracing has 2 tone bars and then 1 finger brace down on the side of each. Maple bridge plate, which was in really clean shape. Didn't look like it had any, ball and pulled through on the bottom. Got a lot of volume. I just love the sound of it. The string spacing is comfortable enough that finger picking is really comfortable too. And I'm not a real fast finger picker, but just for doing... And there's my intonation check. So I've got a few pictures I'm going to throw through here in a little bit of a slideshow. Just like 3 or 4. Oh, one of the quick things I wanted to bring up. This is a Gretsch Model 40. However, it says President on the top. Now, I've found a few examples of these where they've got the headstock artwork for like a local manufacturer. Similar to like what Gibson did with their Kalamazoos and their Recording Kings. I think Gretsch made some of these for department stores. And one of the ones I found, I can't find the link, but I'm going to keep looking, was for a local store in Lewiston, Maine named Basalians or Basalons. I did find a picture of one called a Hager Artist. Same gray pearl purulin background, same flower, same banners top and bottom. The Gretsch Model 40 would say Gretsch Hawaiian, and then these store brand ones seem to have this other logo on top. But the serial number on the top of the headstock stamps the format that Gretsch always used, and it puts this one in the mid-30s. So anyway, take a look at these pictures. It'll give you an idea too, and I'll be back in a second. 30's to early 40's. I think this one's a mid-30's model. Gretsch Model 40 Hawaiian conversion. Converted to 1 13/16 nut. Brand new bridge. New fretboard. New frets. She's just a real singer. Thanks a lot for watching.